thinking that my total addressable market isn't as big as it actually might be, specifically in the niche that I'm in.
I have a few people that I can sell to, but I'm not exactly sure which service to sell.
Can you share more details about how the structure is positioned between them and the operators?
How do you build your leadership team? Like, what is the evolution from like?
I'm building new acquisition channels. So we're building a paid funnel now, plus an outreach funnel.
Most of my time is spent on marketing sales, generating new clients for the business, and rolling out, developing new services.
You have to attack the growth element from all angles. Focus on like one key thing, which you can become expert at, known for, and then build from there. You have to teach yourself to be patient on that. It's fine, and you will get there. One of the first things I think you should not be doing is you should not be like proofing people's work where they just haven't done it good enough. Like the tone is a bit mixed. I would personally do everything as in like you're talking to your ideal customer. As your job as a CEO, it's like you don't need to talk too much about your plans. I would just start doing them.
Okay, I'm just here in the office, and this video today is all about running a team, being a leader, being a CEO. This is one of the favorite calls I ever did. You'll see me and about 8 to 10 agency owners, and we're discussing essentially how to do that. They ask some questions, I'm helping them. It's a live call. Something that happens at Gemflow, because when we help businesses scale, I think you really like it. Check it out. It's about an hour long. And look, at any point, if you feel like this is the type of stuff that you need help with your company, what you got to do is click the link down below and book a call, and maybe we can help you. Let's get into it.
This whole session is about what you are meant to be doing. So I'm just kind of describing some of the stuff that I'm doing for that reason. So it's constantly like the opportunities that are within your business, within your clients, within the market, like that's how I kind of design my focus now, but I'm happy to obviously give context to a few years ago and what the focus was then. But ultimately the focus is on things that make money, as I said in the course, and that's my main how I devise my time. But obviously, as a small group today, happy to make it as engaging as possible, either about your role, or even if you want to discuss team, or any issues or anything team you related, happy to. If anyone has anything to kick us off with, that would be good. So I can actually, just before we start, can everyone just remind me how many of you are there today? And I guess from your own role perspective, what are you actually doing right now? As in, like, what do you focus on yourself? That would give good context to this conversation.
Yeah, I can start.
Yeah.
The first question was how many people are in the team?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're about a dozen people. And my role is specifically, so the goal is to automate the customer acquisition channel, which we've identified as Upwork being a prime position. And currently I'm finding a tremendous success there, as there's a ton of people that want to like build an MVP very fast and validate a concept idea. And I think we're much better than what's there right now. And that's one thing. And the second thing is, like, for the people with content creators, I've actually shared a pitch for you as well. I want to close a creator as well. So that's my role. So I want to close a creator and also like automate acquisition channel for like the commodity for development. And also like find a creator to partner up and the profit sharing / revenue sharing model.
I'll jump in. Sorry, Benson.
Oh, go ahead.
We are 16 people. Number 17 joining Monday, 18 later this month. Most of my time is spent on marketing sales, generating new clients for the business, and rolling out, developing new services. But I still spend a fair bit on basically account managing quite a few clients. But the person joining Monday will basically take over the majority of that role, but for 1 or 2. So that's a big time step that's going to be given back to me.
For us, 19 FT right now, and then like a lot of you guys, I think like focusing on biz dev, not so much in the day-to-day execution. I think we've done pretty good on that, but still implementing a lot of stuff from what Sarah has taught. And then the third one is kind of focusing on more like the retention and upselling aspect of things. But I want to definitely implement like I think we have good retention. I think it's just like the new blood like fusing it with the right blood, right and new blood into the business and stuff. So yeah.
I could go next. So it's just me and one full-time hire for my business specifically. I'm also building a business with a YouTuber who has 1 million subscribers. So that's a different business where I'm an equal partner. But there we have around 8 people that are full-time, and then we've got a bunch of freelancers that we contract. For my own stuff, I also do a lot of different services at the moment. So I have partners for that in the UK. So we have copywriters based in the UK, funnel builders based in the UK as well. And then I have my lead generation team that's based in India. I speak to one guy, he has his own 5-team VA setup. And then also an in-house designer, but it's all project based because we built that relationship up now. So yeah, only one full-time hire, just me. And then I do everything right now, everything from marketing, sales to operations. So whether it's lead generation, client success after the clients have been signed on, I just basically do anything and everything at this point in time with everyone that we work with. So it's all over the place at the moment, really.
Cool, thanks. I guess where can I give you guys the most value, right? Do you want to know more about, yes, focus for finding new opportunities, growth, more money, etc.? Is it more being able to manage everything that you have to manage, especially I guess for a bunch of you that have like say if it's 15 plus people or 10 plus people, it's starting to get to the point of things are happening, and how do you stay on top of them? I know Sarah will tell you how to stay on top of them operationally from a work perspective. It's more even from a mental perspective and a like your physical focus, like what's in your calendar each week and what should be there. Yeah, I guess I can take the conversation many places, but would love to get some pointers from you guys so I can be helpful. I guess, Derek, I think you did.
Yeah, no worries. No, I think for me, I'm at about 10 people right now, mainly on the creative team, like editors, designers, and such. I've got my hands in everything. So I'm reviewing videos, account management. I have like a part-time helper there, but I'm basically doing everything. I haven't really had a major need. Just now starting potentially like today to bring on somebody to help with like strategy and stuff like that. Just a more bigger investment, if that makes sense. I haven't needed it up to this point. But for me, the biggest value that I think and why I really invested in this course in the first place, to learn from you, especially Shan, is for a while now, I've been stuck in the cycle of I can't seem to break past this same level of MRR because every time I do, something in the agency breaks that drops it. Clients start leaving. Not enough clients come in for the amount of team members I hired to service the clients that came, or I'll break the level, hire new team members, and then somebody will churn. And it's just this continuous cycle. And so I think for me, it's kind of a combination of all of those things where I'm okay managing those different parts of the business, but how can I get such an influx of clients in the door without churning others out where I can actually sustain the level of growth? And I think many of the other people here, you guys may have cracked that. So maybe this is an earlier on problem. But I think that for me is the big thing. That's the big thing.
I guess my first follow-up there would be, where's your time going right now, generally? And I guess how much are you working hours-wise, time-wise? Because yes, to jump up a certain level of threshold, it requires something. But anyway, you could just tell me that as a...
Yeah, I mean, I'm always on, like Monday through Sunday. If I'm not at my desk, my phone's going off. I've got Discord open, Slack open. I'm always on. If I had to look at my business from the outside and say, what am I doing that's holding me back? I think it's two main things. And this is something I was going to talk about in the one-on-one. Maybe others are experiencing this as well. But it's, thinking that my total addressable market isn't as big as it actually might be, specifically in the niche that I'm in. So looking at it, is my offer, is it just not good enough? Which is very well maybe the case. It's just a commodity. People are churning out of it quickly. So it's not good enough to scale. That's one thing. And then the other thing is because of that mindset, which doesn't really serve me. And you helped me break that belief to the point where, Shan, I've signed a new client every Friday for the last 2 weeks. That hasn't happened in ages. So like end of week, I'm on board. Like that's awesome since I've signed on here. It's freaking cool as hell. I've got onboarding today after this. So excited about that. But, you know, because of that, I don't think I'm doing enough outreach efforts, nor do I have the right system to get enough outreach. Like I'll be transparent, guys. Like I'm sending 20 messages a day manually. I want to be sending 1,000. My concern is there isn't enough people. If I send 1,000 messages today, my market, that's it. Like that, there's not enough podcasts that need clips that can afford our rates versus going to like India or the Philippines and spending $500 a month, if that makes sense. That's me personally.
I think just on that, you have to attack the growth element from all angles. I think we first discussed like you should definitely train a team, sit them there, and get them started doing the outreach, because the outreach isn't about 1,000, and we discussed it before, right? It's more about a tailored approach and going back to the same people again and again, and just starting that cycle. So then you'll be comfortable mentally, internally knowing someone is doing it, it's happening. Because the fact that you have to physically do it is the first thing to solve, because it just cannot be that, because you'll never grow. You have to be doing what you need to be doing whilst that bare minimum is happening, that someone is out there seeding those messages. Then it's just everything else from there. What I would do, maybe we can do work on this in one-to-one, is making that grand list of every single thing that you need to touch and feel and improve. Like even looking at your website now, it can be improved so much from a messaging point of view. It just says we help busy creators grow their shows. There's no upside on it at all. You should be talking about the benefit of cutting clips and reposting and what that can do for you. And the whole thing should be built around the value proposition. That on average within 3 months, X views happen, and from that, this many deals could happen, or this much ad revenue can come. That you are showing the person the circular why. So the point is messaging can be worked on a lot to get more clients. Then it's just everything else. Like I don't know, do you have referrals with your current clients? It's a whole list of things essentially to go through and trying to enable all of them. So what I would say your role as a CEO should be is like to enable things, as in get it going, get it from 0 to 1. I have a rule that if we're doing anything in Germflow, it's me or the leadership team, because we've gone larger now. Back when I was 10, 15 in like 2018, 19, I would kickstart everything myself. Every single thing. I would get it from 0 to 1 till I know this thing is now working, and then I would try to hire someone for it and pass it on to them under my rules, etc. But I would spend the time on, most people make the mistake of doing like one thing at a time. I would make a long list of every single thing that you need to do to grow and actually just do all of them, which is hard, but do all of them. It's like, I need to improve my website. I need to hire my outreach team that sit there. I need to message every single one of my current clients and say to them, I'll give you this much money if you introduce me to X person. But before that, make a list of every single person they know that you could potentially sign and send it to them. So that's the answer to what you should be focusing on. In particular, if you're concerned about growth and getting to that next stage, because if you were to sign 5 or 10, then it would change it. Because naturally, you may churn a few clients, but there's just that much more. And take more chances. One thing that I did a lot as we were trying to scale is that I would take chances on clients that may not fit the criteria, or they may want to not pay so much. I took the chance, and some of them pay off. It's almost like a slight gambling way of thinking of it. Like the more you gamble, the more things pay off. The more you're trying to protect your if someone's not willing to pay your fee, etc. I feel I've missed opportunities. So I would be more aggressive on that front. Yeah. Especially for you, because I think definitely the market is too big. And you can easily reposition yourself as like you're a content distribution agency. You're not a podcast agency. What's it got to do with podcast? Like it's video, you're just cutting it. If I was you, that would be the thing I'll do tomorrow. I'll repurpose myself to a content distribution agency and go full force. That if you have a long form piece of video which is more than 5 minutes, you can come work with us and we're going to clip it and post it for you. Then what I message you in the DMs about, I would then have the services built out like that, where like that's standard posting on one account, or we're going to count stacks for you. We will launch 10 TikToks for you and launch on 10 at the same time, because we know that's going to get you more views. Or we can do cross-channel, that we can do it every single channel. Facebook are doing monetization now, Snapchat's doing monetization now. An easy business model for you is to say, I'm going to post on Snapchat, I'm going to turn monetization on, and I'm going to make you money, because they'll pay you for views. Snapchat is paying the highest out of all the platforms right now for views. It's just so much opportunity. Like,
Yep. I think you're 100% right. I think a lot of people might resonate with this. My biggest takeaway is, if I look at it holistically on my business, all the things you just mentioned, I'm in the process of actually doing. One thing that I beat myself up for as an entrepreneur is I want the result today, but it might, like, I said this the other day. I was like, I overestimate how much I can do in a day, and I underestimate how much I can do in a week to a month, because the change from 30 days ago, if you would have talked to me 30 days ago, it'd been completely different. I thought my business was going nowhere. I've signed 4 or 5 new clients, right? So it's drastic difference. But no, you're absolutely right. So I appreciate that breakdown. It's really helpful.
I think, yeah, on that, I would say you have to just secretly be, you have to be patient, mentally patient. And you've got to be okay with the fact that someone else is winning and you want to do this thing. You have to teach yourself to be patient on that it's fine and you will get there. And that's a massive thing. It happens to me all the time, and I beat myself over it. Where we're currently launching it's going to be our first like public facing, essentially like creator monetization product that people will be able to sell courses, communities, all that. So essentially like what a Kajabi or a Circle or whatever it is today. We're basically making a competitor of that to launch it publicly. And I want it live tomorrow. But just, that is a fine line of obsession or being upset or not feeling good enough versus like accepting that it's just, these are the steps to go through. But that's why it really does help. I do this a lot, like spend time looking back on my goals, looking at the numbers, and then saying, actually, this is a great place to be right now, and more is coming, versus feeling like I'm not doing enough to grow the business. There's a very natural feeling to have that feeling. I actually take time out to sit and just think and do nothing. It sounds weird, like no music, no nothing, just like sitting and thinking, because you kind of fix your mind when you're doing that. But anyway, we'll move on. Sorry, I sent a message. Hey Tim, how's it going? I think the first thing you should not be doing. One of the first things I think you should not be doing is you should not be like proofing people's work where they just haven't done it good enough, or you've had to go in and fix something that it was someone else's job basically. That's the first big thing you shouldn't be doing, and it still happens to me, right? Like I'll be reviewing some new thing that's about to go live, and I'll have like some mistakes in it, and that just can't happen because the process should be fixing that. So I think that's like my number one where your time shouldn't be going. That's probably my biggest one, I would say. The next question is, are you team? The way we forecast that is basically, we literally were just doing it last night. First and foremost, like base principles, we've got to figure out like how much physically time it's taking to do X amount of work within the business. And you got to genuinely do that. So in my product team, where we like design and sample and make products for people, we do time tracking. So within Asana, we have like extensions, and we literally time track to understand if it's a product designer that it can't be taking them 4 hours to do this, like, these CADs for this client. We have to get true understanding of cost, because we do that basically out of pocket. We don't charge for that. And so we truly need to understand the cost of it. And then when you get in a position where you have multiple people in the business, you can very easily start to see like who is actually slow And that's a genuine thing of people being slow. We've had a lot of those problems in the past where like I had someone slow till I had someone better. And obviously the better person, even if it might be more expensive in salary, they're actually cheaper in the output. And if you're not measuring that or aware of that, it becomes a problem.
Sorry, just to add on. So you're getting them to click on a button on Asana, like a plugin, and then they start the task and they click end kind of thing. So like a hub staff or something like that.
Yeah, pretty much. I think the one that we used or still use, I'm just going to Google it. I think it's called Harvest.
Harvest.
It's
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Harvest Asana. It's like a time tracking tool for Asana. As an extreme example, obviously nobody wants to be there doing time tracking on the team, but we've done that in a particular example of like, because they are either designers and editors, it's very easy because you are like picking up a task and editing. So it's where you can track that stuff. You can cost it very well to be like, one YouTube short costs me $97 to edit. You can actually get to that level of understanding. And with all this stuff, like there's no 100%. It's just getting a gauge.
Because that's one of the challenges. Like we're trying to figure out like resourcing and like because we can always do more for the client, but we don't track that. We have an like kind of like a set plan, and we do whatever they kind of let us know, like an unlimited per month, based on number of hours, and then we let the team let us know. But it's been hard to kind of scale that because we're doing good right now, but then I don't know how much we can add in terms of like clients and new blood versus like
How well do you manage like the people that work in clients, their time, and where's that going? Where I found the most white space, I guess, blank space in our business was just that. So someone has like 8 clients. To say they're always busy, till we got them to really use Asana properly. Because you have all your tasks in Asana, but then they'll be like, oh, I'm doing other things. Like, what are those other things? So we really got like into the detail. We started to realize like, actually, you have like hours free every day. So you can have more clients, you can do more things. Like you'll find, space within your team. It depends on how you are managing like, how do you know what everybody's doing outside of tasks that are like actual tasks, like the middle space of their days? That becomes an important thing. That's for your managers to be on top of, like personally.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
I don't know if anyone else hasn't said, do you guys like at a client level ever look at profitability?
No, we went over that with James last Friday. It was very interesting, and I'm gonna apply that. It's an interesting thing. We have on a company level P&L, but not customer customer.
Because basically, when you do that, you'll start to see which clients are taking the piss, and you have to go to the clients and trying to fix the service level because it's gone too far now. You'll notice where your team has space because these clients you actually don't do that much for. And so just to answer this question of like, how do you allocate team resources? It's like, it comes from that base. If you do all these steps, you'll start to realize like this one person clearly has capacity in the team. So then what I would do is, going back to Derek, you're saying there's all these things to do. We do this as a company. You'd be like, okay, here's the things we need to do to grow. Who is free? I asked this question on Thursday night to my leadership team. I was like, okay, we've just come up with like 6 things we need to do. Go and find out who's free, who has time. Because people have time because someone's client is away, something has a big project, someone doesn't, whatever, there is time. The number one hack of like this question is that I always try to forget people's roles. And if something needs doing, if you find someone that has time, you'd be like, you're gonna have to do it. And that takes some use to. Some people won't like it. Some people will leave your business. It's like, yeah, but I'm just a copywriter. What do you mean? Like, yeah, but as you have time, this week, I want you to sit on LinkedIn and find me 10 companies that are like this, or do something else that are like this. So again, going back to, I'm bringing it back because the thing was like, how do you grow and just there's so many things on your plate? But you can disperse those things to get people going. And you should see people in your business as like, you can use them for your own benefit. Ultimately, the business's benefit. And it's okay to do that. Like the rules, people are very stuck on like job description, title, that's my role. I'm not going to do nothing else. We do that all the time. Like my editing team, we were doing a shoot in LA last week. We needed new locations and stuff because the location fell through, and the editing, the Sana like teams, like, it wasn't so heavy. Like, all right, start looking for locations, start calling up places, start doing this and that because this shit needs doing. So just drilling that into your team would be very useful. I'm just going to move on now. I guess overall margin depends on the agency. Margin, I would say you want to be around at least 30% net profit, but it depends. If you are knowingly spending money to grow, then that's okay. So, there's obviously like genuine profit from your actual service delivery, but then naturally you'll start to spend some money around that to grow. So I would understand your true service profitability. And then outside of that, if you're spending money to acquire more clients, if you're spending money to do other things or launch a new service, I would identify and track those things separately. So versus looking at a general overall margin, because it doesn't really mean anything. So I would have margin for my service, and then I'll have other things I'm investing in and what return is going to come when from those things. And yeah, overall you can have a margin, but that's the way I would look at it from a business perspective. Ask any questions? I think sorry, just reading notes here.
I could go.
Yeah.
So I'm at this point now where I have a few people that I can sell to, but I'm not exactly sure which service to sell. They have different requirements, different problems that I could help solve. But essentially, yeah, I just don't quite know where I want to head as a service, as a business, because right now I just work backwards from the client. So I figure out, okay, this is the person or business that I want to work with. Now I'll do whatever it takes to make that happen. And what that has now led to is just me offering a lot of different services to different people. But is there a certain thing that you would do normally to get to the point of like, okay, this is, well, community building is something that I've been focusing on. That's something that I love. And it's got a lot of different elements to it, from filling communities to maintaining them to monetizing them. And so that's something that I have been focusing on. Yeah.
If it was me, I would focus on like one key thing, which you can become expert at, known for, and then build from there. It's very easy to sit and think of different services. It's very easy to sit and think of different things, or you could potentially, I would say, go and win 10 contracts and then try your best in doing that. Whatever, you end up winning the most in, naturally would be your best suited thing. And I would go for that. I wouldn't think about it anymore. If you have some people and you have an idea what to pitch them, I would start pitching them immediately, and not be so concerned. I literally do that to this day. If I meet somebody and I see the opportunity, I've talked about that previously, I'll immediately be selling them that exact thing that they need in that moment. Things like elevator pitch, you have 3 minutes to impress someone. What are you selling? You're probably going to say community building. Then that's it. Go for it. Become amazing at that versus like 7 other things, or figuring out which is my. I see that a lot with new agency owners. Today, people are so confused with like, what's my offer? What's my service? Which clients do I really want? And people are stuck trying to perfect that because they don't want to build something they don't want. And it's like, real life just doesn't work like that. Like if you have a skill, you'll be found out very soon if that's true or not. Once you have actual clients, once they're paying you, you'll start to become a deeper expert in that one thing, 2 things, 3 things. And then you scale from there. Like you've got a couple of guys here, like for them, if that's Google Ads for Paolo, if it's clips for Derek, if it's D2C design, right? Like it's very natural. It's personal branding for Sam. Like it's very natural that you pick up a skill and you get better and better at that. So if it's community, I would go all in on that, turn that into a level of success, then start to flip other things around it, service-wise. So you focus on proving your hypothesis on one key thing and actually doing it, and stop, chase the money, is what I would say.
Thank you.
I have a question if no one else has anything. Not really related to the current topics, but you mentioned slightly in the previous call about the Prime deal. You were talking about long Paul and KSI. Potentially, like, I mean, not potentially, it's not like you were competing with the guys that pitched, but you missed the deal. And you were like talking about the details of the deal structure. Do you know more? Can you share more details about how the structure is positioned between them and the operators?
Not really, but what I would say is obviously they are KSI and Logan are minority shareholders, and the other guys gave them $1 million each up front, and they had a letter of intent from, I believe it was Walmart or maybe Target, one of them, that they would buy the stock if they were to produce such item. And I believe that was the reason they signed the agreement. It wasn't the cash. It was the letter from the retailer saying that they would place an order. Yeah.
Interesting. So you think that was the biggest reason for like that big push? Because both creators, I follow them, like they didn't push anything as aggressively as they did with Prime, like from the get-go, before it was $1 billion company, right? So like, what do you think was convinced them that to push it so aggressive?
I think that's definitely possible with lots of different creators today, because you just have to tell them why and educate them to the potential and what are we trying to do. And in this situation, they're partners and they had retail distribution already. So obviously it started off well, and the idea of combining two creators with the history and stuff. So I think there was lots of stuff. They announced it so well. They pretended to be a third fight, but it wasn't. There's so many elements to why that led to being such a success in the initial days. But yeah, I would say the deal is not something that anyone else can do. You need to have a lot of funds to be able to do a deal of that nature.
And specifically for them, or in general, like what, like, is there a contractual obligation to creators to promote the number of times they promote it, or the volume, or the way they promote it?
We have it too. Yeah.
Okay.
So the truth is, any people that are trying to compete with us today, they'll go in, they'll invest all the money, they'll have no guarantees on promotion. 2 months later, the creator will forget about it, pretend it never happened, and the company's there with no money, spent all their money, paid all the wages, made some app, and they're sitting there crying. It happens every single day in the industry, because people think that some unicorn something is going to happen if a famous person or creator is going to do X, but it doesn't really work like that. Sorry, I just realized you had another question here, Ben. What does your role for? I think for me, the difference has been between the different stages is, I think firstly, now I can you're not actually worried anymore. What I mean by that is like the chase of signing clients and doing the delivery, I've officially outgrown. That the business is going to work. It is working and it is okay. That's like the biggest thing of I guess the end, or say the success, is that worry is out my mind now, because the business is good enough that it's going to keep trading and it's going to keep delivering. Secondly, that means you can start to think more strategically, more about growth, more about how to push forwards. And so that's a great place to be mentally. The hard thing with that is then you have big ideas and your team is busy doing the work, but you have no one to help you deliver those new ideas. So it's an interesting challenge that as you have more cash in the bank. Well, I find myself in a position where we are growing month to month. Cash in the business is growing month to month. Like our bank balance is growing month to month, and it is almost like, what do you do next? And that's where my job comes in, my pressure comes in, and focus. I guess where it was before was when I was in the stage where most of you guys are at, I was chasing the money for sure, as in chasing the clients, trying to sign the bigger clients. What I started to realize was, and I can only advise you guys to do the same, is understand the type of client that you like working for, the type of client that gives you the most return. Ideally, people that, and everyone has their own understanding of that depending on your industry. I started to seek those out more and more and more. And I started to just plan way more small moves without talking about it too much. So one thing I would say, as your job as a CEO, is like, you don't need to talk too much about your plans. I would just start doing them. The most weirdest ideas that you have in your head about how to grow your business, like I would just like, okay, I'm just gonna go and do it. Versus like telling to my team and trying to convince them this is the next thing I want to do. That's what I used to do. When I started to fully focus on me and my ideas, it started to grow. But yeah, what I would wish I could avoid would be just probably like the detail of some of the client stuff, going overboard for clients. Like I think I've done way too much for clients than I should have. You'll never really get the benefit for it. And so I wish I focused more on my business's goals. What happens in a client-facing businesses, which all of us have, you start to achieve your clients' goals for them as part of your service delivery, but you can easily forget about your own business growth. I have this with my team now. I have to tell people off to be like, you know, you can't keep calling the client every day. That time, you know, you need to spend on growing the agency or growing the business or doing something else. But like, yeah, but I'm just trying to like, you know, help my client. What am I meant to do? They needed something, so I have to call them, have to do this, have to do that. So just getting that line drawn. On my wedding day, I was doing customer service for one of my clients because I was so like, I have to do this. It has to be right. I can't fuck it up. And that worry of messing it up and what's going to happen and will I lose the client? So like, I wish I just had a better understanding of that earlier, and I was less scared, which I'm sure some of you guys feel at times, right? That how if I lose 2 clients, I need to get 2 more. If I've just hired 2 people, I need to get more clients. Like this thing that you feel yourself in. I was really worried about that, and I wish I wasn't because because it, you know, yes, it turned out to be great, but it always would have been because most of you guys here are trying to do things which are at the forefront of, call it digital, online, etc. And there's too much opportunity that if you're remotely good at what you do, it's going to be okay. And I think, yeah, I guess that's what I would tell myself if I was talking to like the 2019 version of me. The other thing I would say is if you are having an amazing period in your business, you should also recognize that's always not going to be this good. So in 2019, like everything we were touching was gold. And then we have gone through a little bit of harder time. So just also know that it's not always so easy as well, because I felt the both of that, where it's been really good and not so good.
Thanks for sharing that. That's valuable.
Tim, as you have a larger agency, I guess what's your focus right now? What do you focus on?
So we just launched a new website, which was a project that I oversaw. And now I guess I'm building new acquisition channels. So we're building a paid funnel now plus an outreach funnel, next to everything that we do content wise. And besides that, my job is pretty much everything around marketing and sales. Because I'm together with my dad and also Mattis, our VP revenue marketing. So we share a lot of the accountabilities, which helps, I guess. But for me, it's mostly like everything that's around networking, branding, sales, marketing, also recruiting, like all sorts of growth topics pretty much. And then we have Mattis that takes care of our client delivery. So I pretty much don't have much to do with that. And I think it also helps if you have a co-founder or something that's building the company with you together to split the two, because the more focus you can get, the better, I think, the more you move forward.
Let's do the website. Sorry, trying to look. Right.
It's a soft launch, so there's more pages coming every week. But we wanted to go live ASAP, just with home and contact page.
My only one point would be is the tone of voice. It's a bit mixed. It says your growth, and then later it'll say, we believe in education at scale. That's why we do this. Then it's like our CEO. Like the tone is a bit mixed. I would personally do everything as in like you, as in like you're talking to your ideal customer throughout.
Hmm.
That's just my initial.
Yeah. Where do you see that?
Just reading some of the copy.
Yeah.
I just like things like in 2004, B2B buyers know exactly what they want and how they want to buy. And that doesn't include, like, it's a bit general. I would do it more towards the person you are trying to sign. That's just a quick observation.
Yeah, understood. Yeah.
It's just might be worth having a talking video as well. It'd be interesting to like split test. You got your trailer, but if you had like a talking video of you saying, "Hey, what's up? This is what we do. This is how it works. Here's some case studies." Like again, you're talking to the person before getting on the call with them. It'd be interesting to see.
I also thought about that, but it's super hard to split test because
What are
you
you
need.
using?
I mean, you need a lot of. I think a lot of traffic and also a lot of inbound requests, so that it actually makes sense to split test. I think for agencies. But yeah, I think another better version would be to also have people moving in the video and people explaining stuff. For example, me walking through the office or some kind of thing like that would be like the V2. Yeah, but we did that video in just like 2 weeks before the launch, so it was quite hectic. But I wanted to have a video. I think it's a good way to
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
start.
Anything else anyone wants to jump into? How do you find, because something that I've been through is, I guess, like people being scared of you versus like working with you versus working for you. Like, how do you feel like you are today, and where do you think you need to improve? The reason is because I think I've learned a lot. My style, I think, has really helped me keep people, and I haven't lost anyone. No one has left Jumper that's worked here more than 2 years. Whoever's been here 2 years, they've never left. So it's like once you're in, you're in. And then my main leadership team now is 5 years. What I would attest to that is my CEO style, because basically I'm not a CEO. So earlier, just before this, I was on a call. Normally, and I've sat on other people's calls to know how people are. You get on a call and, you know, as the CEO, you'd be like, right, guys, so where are we? Give me updates or tell me where we are. And people feed you information. I've always been the type to like, I lead it myself, even the conversation or the session. If I'm jumping in a session, let's say it's a design session, I wouldn't just sit and listen in. I would be right in the conversation of the session itself. As in, if there's like 20 screens being presented to me or some creators being presented to me, I'll be the one saying, oh, why is this one like this? What's this? Oh, by the way, I like this. Let me show you one. This looks like this. I'll go straight in to add value and become part of the team and trying to help as much as I can. Because when I've sat in other people's, generally across the board, it's normally like you are turning up to be presented to and sign something off. And that's been the number one reason, because the people that like working, I guess, with me is because I feel like we're building something together. and I let people have that feeling. To which why, like, I don't know many places where I've managed to like keep the basically main people, and I've given equity to my leadership team, and like we really it's like in it together feeling, which has made it so much better because you don't need a co-founder because you have like a bunch of them. And over time, that's obviously a great thing to have. But yeah, we'd love to understand.
Oh, sorry. I got a prompt on that. I was just like, as I'm thinking through, like, how do you I don't know if this is answered by module already, but like, how do you build your leadership team? Like, what is that evolution from like, Sarah and James getting equity and like how they prove their worth and continue to and everything? How do you, I know that's a big question, but.
Honestly, I would promote within. I would never hire. I would look at who is the people around you that are actually doing the things that need to be done. They may not do it so well. They may not be the best in the market, nothing like that. So I made that mistake of, and I do talk about it in one of the videos, which is I had an amazing team, but I was like, what do these guys know? They're like young, I've taught them everything. I need to go and get real experts out there. And I went and hired and paid $250,000, $300,000 salaries, hired them, and I realized I actually knew nothing about how we work, our industry, and the actual things that matter. They had lots of context, lots of great experience. They just couldn't apply it to what we're doing. So I spent almost $1 million to learn this thing that I'm saying. I would 100% look around you and think out of the 12 people that you have, 15 people that you have, like who are the people that you cannot lose? And whoever those are, I would start to think of them in that way because you have to. In your first 10 hires is your main people, is your at least a couple of main people. And you have to develop them. So I would go all in with them, as in like I would build personal relationships. I'll go out with them. I will take care of them. I would do everything you need to do to make them your soldiers, basically. And no matter what, they will be there and they're going to help build your business essentially for you, with you. Because it's very hard, right? Because you're saying you want to find really good people that are not going to go and start their own business, but they can help you build your business, but they're almost as good to start their own business. And that's a hard thing to find. So if you train someone up to be like that, then they will stay with you. Then you'll have to offer them some sort of equity. And they'll understand. But I'm not scared about talking to my guys about like, if they were to leave, what are the options? What would they do? Rather than not talking about that topic, I would talk about it to your main people. So they mentally realize, actually, you're right. Like my team is quite young. I was like, look, guys, do this with me for 5 years. When you leave, you'll still be 28. And you would have been part of the Gemflow mafia that exited Gemflow, and you can go and build a whole career after that. And they're like, oh yeah, like I don't need to like leave and start my business right now and get all the success and 1 million followers and everything everybody wants right now. If I just wait, I can do it in 5 years' time. Oh yeah. And they mentally got accepted the fact that over the next 20 years, I will still live my dream of having my own business and all that stuff. But let me do it after I've learned so much that I'm learning here. And it's risk-free for them. They're getting paid and they're on the upside when the business sells. So it's just, I would really work strategically on the core relationships and actually developing those relationships yourself and then giving them the things that they need in their life. For whatever reason, I've had to like sponsor whatever, move countries, or someone to move city. Other things would be like gift, this, that, like you have to take care of people is what I have, I guess, done. Then I did some strategic things as in like going away. What we did was back in 2000, we went to LA and stayed there for 6 weeks in a house. And that completely changed everything because they saw how I work TV or like once work's finished. That was the first time they saw that, oh shit, this shit don't stop and how we need to be. And we have to get an office in LA and we know nothing. Let's start from scratch. So when people see you do things like that, so it's like, okay, where do we start from? Let's make a list. Let's go to every single warehouse. Let's do all the viewings. Let's do this. When you show someone how to build something up from the ground up, then the belief comes. And then next day they're doing it themselves. And that's been like the thing. So I think if you honestly want to build a bigger agency, which is worth selling one day, you have to start investing your time and effort into some key people early on and develop those relationships. It's one of the obviously Kim, you obviously do it with family, slight difference, but otherwise you're trying to create that in another way. Essentially, that's what I would do.
Well, we also have that. I mean, yeah, my dad and me, we founded it, but still we have a couple people that also have shares in the company that have been there from the early days. So I 100% agree with you. I think if you want to build a big agency, it's all about the people. Like at some point, you can't do everything yourself, and you just need people that are even better than you in some specific areas that can execute on a very high standard, and also have the drive to make things better, to take full ownership, because I think that's really hard. So they think about your business like you think about your business. I think if you get people to that point, I think then you're winning.
You know, the question that you asked in the channel, Sam. So the profit share is a great way to get people to be on the same side as you. And when I did that, it changed everything. Before it was like people are trying to fight for pay rises for the team. They're trying to always say we should be spending money here, we should be doing this. They were always against the business goals or strategy in some way. There's always some personal agenda. The moment I changed it, that whatever your thing is, we agreed a way that this is how we're going to calculate profit for what you do, and this is how you get a percentage of that. It completely made everyone on the same team. Before I would have so many problems with like, oh, I had one guy who was like, I feel like we should charge this client less because I feel like we're doing them over because they're paying us too much. It's not right, because the other client pays this much and we're doing less for him, but they pay us more. Like, you know, and you're like, what are you talking about? The goal is to make money here. That's good. It's good if you're doing zero work and getting paid. Ultimately, that's the best client. But to bring them on side, once they get the money, everything changes. So I would advise, as much as possible in the whole business, to do people's bonuses based on money they generate with the clients they keep. There's something around the performance in that detail. It'll change everything versus normal salary, because the hardest thing in ADC is everyone is just chasing the next role. If someone is executive, they're chasing senior. Someone is senior, they're chasing manager. And then you are essentially a stepping stone in their career, and you don't want that, ultimately.
Are you
do that across-
incentivizing every single person in the company?
I would say every manager above or full-time staff in some capacity. Obviously, not any like international like extra, I guess let's call it support staff that like doing things, no. But any key commercial roles, yes.
How do you do the
Even-
logistics? Oh, sorry. How do you do the logistics of that? Is there a module on that, or did you share that, like in terms of like, you know, like leadership team / managers get X% based on the number of clients because they're generating X or something?
Yeah, I put some in Slack if you check, as in a quick framework of what we do at different levels. But I haven't done a video on it. I will be making some new content on some of the topics we've been discussing. That's one of them. You got to devise that yourself. So if you sit and say, here's the levels in the business, how do I do it bottom up? Like even down to the outreach people that we have in like Philippines and stuff, we're doing to them, if they find enough qualified leads, they'll get a bonus. So like depending, I try to incentivize as much as possible with money. It's the number one driver over anything else. So always find a way to incentivize, like our customer service, like how good the tickets are. They'll get extra bonus. So like everyone has some incentive. The money is key in that. Yeah, I would definitely separate it though, so it's not a blanket. You can even separate it on people. Once you really get to know people, be like, what's going to drive this one person? Because like I've got one girl, she's amazing. She's a creative brand manager. You know, I know she wants to travel and just have that feeling of like, you know, she's doing well, meeting creators and traveling. It's like, okay, I know she wants to do that. So like, you know, I'm letting her go and see her clients in person and spend a week with them, spend 2 weeks with them, go to Paris Fashion Week, stay there for 2 weeks. In her mind, she's like, all my days I'm living my dream. I'm in Paris Fashion Week for 2 weeks. I'm at the Prada show. I'm at this show. I'm at that show. She didn't care about her salary. She didn't care about that shit. It's like find what the thing is of people and like doing that. I've got a call as well now. But yeah, hopefully that's helpful. Discussed quite a few things on your own roles, but start making the growth moves. Don't ask anybody, and start doing the work.
Awesome.
You'll see some growth come through. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.